Oh, this is a hard one. Um, it's the thing of when you are. Oh boy, you sneak into someone's house and you eat them.
Murder. Homicide.
The thing of when
Bad
you
crimes.
first get married and it's a full moon and your wife sees you in your transformed self.
Grounds for a divorce.
Okay, pass. Next word. Oh, oh, oh boy. I don't. Pass. Next word. So let's play Werewords. Basically, in this little box, we're going to get the following stuff. We have a bunch of little chits that are going to be used by the mayor when we figure out who the mayor is, and we explain that in a second here. And then some different little placards that are just basically gonna be used to get the roles set up for this game. In a 10-player game, we would go ahead and just hand out all these placards face down. We would get rid of this stuff, but we give these to each player, and each player is going to get a role. And the roles they could possibly have are the seer, the villager, a werewolf, or the mayor. And the mayor is going to be, there's going to be one tile left in the middle, and the mayor's going to get a second role that's secret. So this would be a mayor that's also a villager. And that's going to kind of impact the game as well. So there's a couple werewolves, one seer, and the rest are villagers. And then once we have it established that these are secret identities, we're going to launch the app, and the app's going to basically help us from there. So before we even get into anything else, the basic roles of this game, we have villagers. The villagers are going to basically be what we'd expect them to be. They're just the common folk. They are at danger of the werewolves, but they're trying to work together to beat the werewolves. Then we also have the seer. The seer is basically going to have the information that knows what the word is, but is in danger themselves, because if the werewolves find out who the seer is, then the werewolves are going to win the game. So the seer has to be very careful with the knowledge they have, and make sure that the werewolves aren't able to figure out who they are, that what they're doing isn't too apparent. So, but the seer is only known to the seer themselves. Only the seer knows they are the seer. So the other villagers don't know who the seer is, and the werewolves don't know either. So the seer has an important role to try and give us some good hints, but has to do it in such a nuanced and subtle way that the werewolves aren't able to figure it out. And then finally, we have the werewolves. The werewolves are trying to throw everyone off the center of the track. That's kind of funny. But they basically know the word as well. And when they're asking the mayor questions, they're trying to throw people off. They're trying to get people to miss the word. So basically the same things that we see with a lot of hidden identity roles games, but this is like kind of a word game. So before we get into an example of maybe some play, let's go ahead and just do the app right now. We'll run through the app and just show you how the app would run and what the setup would be like, and then maybe we'll do a little bit of the gameplay, simulated gameplay. So once we have the roles set out and people are ready to play, we launch the app. And this is one of those games that you do need to have the app, but the app is actually really pretty good. So we're going to say we're going to do easy words, and we're going to go ahead and play. And we have 10 players. Everyone has their role. We're all ready to go. So this is important that before we launch the app, that the mayor and the seer and the werewolves understand they're going to be asked to do something. So just in a general statement, you might want to say, if you're the mayor, well, we'll know who the mayor is. But if you would say, something along the lines of, the werewolves and the seer, be ready that you're going to have to do some stuff. And then I also sometimes have the group make just a little bit of like low level noise underneath the app, so that way people kind of can't figure out who's moving and wrestling. So let's go ahead and just show what this would look like. We'd play with easy words and hit play.
Everyone, close your eyes. Mayor, wake up and tap your secret role.
So the mayor also has another role. Let's just say
Mayor, choose a magic word.
And then the mayor's going to pick, fanny pack.
Mayor, here is your magic word.
Well, this one might be tricky. For an easy word especially.
Mayor, close your eyes. Seer, wake up and view the magic word.
So again, the seer gets to see the word, but they don't want to be caught. By the
Seer, close your eyes. Fortune teller, wake up and view part of the magic word.
No fortune teller here, but the fortune teller would get to see part of the word, like how many letters it is and the first letter. And boy, I'd be like, what in the world is that?
Fortune teller, close your eyes. Werewolves, wake up and look around for the other werewolf, and then view the magic word.
So they get to see the word as well, and they're going to try and throw us off the
Werewolves, close your eyes. Everyone, wake up. You now have 5 minutes to figure out the magic word.
So now we would start making guesses, and if we win, we hit this yellow icon.
Congratulations! You discovered the magic word. Werewolves, turn your cards face up. You now have 30 seconds to find the seer or the fortune teller.
So they would make their guess on who they think that is, and hopefully they would find the right person. That's their seer. So
Time is up. Werewolves, 3, 2, 1, vote.
They'd vote by pointing at a person. If they got that right, they would win still, even if the word was figured out. If they don't, then the village definitely wins. So, that is it. Basically, I'm going to show you now a little bit of what simulated gameplay would look like, and we're going to do that right now. So now it's been established what the word is. The mayor knows it, the seer knows it, and the werewolves know it. And so we're going to go ahead and just say that this is our group of people here. We're just going to flip over a couple people here, just at random to just kind of simulate what they might do. So the villager here would probably ask a question like, is it a living thing? And the mayor, using his tokens, would answer that with a no, it's not a living thing. And this villager would say, is it something that you find in nature? And they would say no. And then the werewolf over here might get it. And the werewolf, I mean, there's like lots of different ways to play it as the werewolf. You can stall, just take lots of time to ask a question. Or you could do something like this. Since the person's not living, are they famous? And so they said it's not a living thing, but he could act like he's confused and say, well, it's not a living person, right? That's what we said. So then the mayor would be like, well, I can't really answer that. Like, there's no way to really answer that. And so then the next villager would go, what the heck? And so they might accuse that person of being a werewolf, and the werewolf would have to go, no, I was just confused. I'm sorry. And then maybe the other werewolves out there somewhere too, and then they would kind of rally off that, and they would go, so the famous person that's not living, that would be, are they historically famous? And then they would go, wait, what? And then people might say, that's the other werewolf, or the other, no, he said, it's not a living person. And then they were like, they answered that, they're not famous, so they must be historical. So then you would keep going like that. And then you also have some other icons in here that would be useful too. Like you have one that says, oh man, you guys are so close. So then maybe as we went along, we might say, is it a piece of clothing? Yeah, it's a piece of clothing. Is it a wallet? Oh man, that's really close. Is it a purse? Oh man, you're really close again. And then hopefully eventually you get to fanny pack, but fanny pack would be kind of hard to get to. So the mayor's just going to keep giving out tokens though based on the words people are guessing or the questions people are asking. That timer's going to run out, and hopefully they get the word, and the werewolves haven't thrown them off too much, and hopefully the werewolves aren't able to see who the seer is. It's a really fun little party game available to play with a lot of different groups. I play it with students sometimes because it's so quick and just kind of fun, gets people cooperating and working together. I'm going to give you some final thoughts in the studio now, though.
So let's get right at it here. Werewords. What do I think of this game? Well, let's just break it down and figure out who this is for. Werewords is a kind of cool blend of like a kind of a word game and a hidden identity, kind of a secret role kind of game. And I think the way how those mechanics mesh together is pretty cool. I'm not sure that this is a better word game than, say, like Codenames, and I'm not positive that it's a better hidden identity game than, say, One Night Ultimate Werewolf. But when you put the two together, the pieces work. And so if you've got fans of Codenames and fans of Werewolf, this one might satisfy both those groups. So it really does mesh these mechanics together fairly well. It has a broad appeal. This is going to be something that you could play with your family at, the family reunion over summer. It's going to be something that you can play with church groups. It could be something you could play. I play it with students. I did it as like a warm up for the beginning of the school year. I got the kids around the table, had 10 kids just kind of sit around and play this game. And it's just neat. Like when you play games with people, you just like them better. And so I deal with students who typically have like some kind of difficulties with, social interactions and getting along with each other. And this one really helped them kind of bond a little and start the school year in a good way. So games can do that. This one's no exception. And this one will definitely help kids to, play cooperatively and try and figure out, hey, who do I trust, who do I not trust? So I think it was cool for that. It's just playable in a ton of situations. The components in the app in this game are really a nice balance too. So the app is essential. You have to use the app, but it's not like you feel like you're playing an app with people. It feels like you're playing a board game, and the app is a nice balance of putting it into as a component of the game, not as the core of the game. So I do like that the app is there as a timer. It's a convenience thing. It's not a let's try and force this digital thing into being a board game and sell a physical piece with it. It really is a good blend of the two. So I think this game does that well. I think this is going to be one of the better examples that I have of how the digital integration into a board game works really well. So I like that a lot. And the app is really well done. It's stable. It runs well. It's easy to follow. The components in this, the nice thick cardboard chunks are good to have. I think that if anything, it's gonna. My only worry about the components, my copy of the Resistance Avalon, all the cardboard pieces like that, have been handled so much that they're starting to wear a little bit, and you can almost tell, okay, which one of those is worn more because that one is, a yes and that one's a no. So I'm wondering if there's sleeves out there for this. If you know if I can get sleeves for this, let me know. Or if you have a sleeving solution, that might be a possibility, I guess. But I really do like it. The rules in this game are pretty good too. They're not hard to understand. You can pick this game up pretty quickly and start playing it. So it's a broadly used game, broadly playable game that's going to appeal to a lot of crowds. So let's put some numbers on it right now. The accessibility of this game, I'm going to give a most rating. I think most anybody could play this game. I think that if you're able to play 20 questions. If you're able to play like a hidden identity game, you can play this one. I would say this is probably going to be one that maybe a 10-year-old would play just because of the nuance of being able to lie and try and figure out who's lying. This might be like a 10-year-old's kind of game. But I think it's something that a 10-year-old could play. So especially if they've modeled it a couple times or seen it being played a couple times. And it's a skill game. I think really this game and all these kinds of games, Hail Hydra, Secret Hitler, all these games are games that you have to get better at over time. So I think with new players, they're going to suffer a little bit and not be great for the first few rounds, but the rounds are so short. You could play a few rounds, and by the time you're playing for 20, 30 minutes, people are going to have a feel for this game and know it. The fun in this game, I'm giving a 4 out of 5. It's a pretty fun game. A well above average game. It's not like a laugh a minute, the like most fun game I've played in the last year, but it's a rock solid fun game. Really do enjoy it and had a lot of fun playing it. The replayability on this, I'm going to give it like a 3.5 out of 5. I mean, the word bank is massive, but the same mechanic gets used over and over again. A 2.5 would be like average on the 5-point scale here, so it's above average in replayability. And I'll tell you why. It's because it's so short and so quick. This isn't something that you're going to get people together to play probably, but it's something you're going to play at like dinner parties, or it's going to be something you play between bigger games. And so I think it does that job really, really well. I think if this were something that I were trying to just play deliberately and all the time, it would get pretty samey pretty fast. But I think that since it doesn't really do that, it's not meant for that, it's fine. It's as much as you want to play it in different situations, it's probably going to be okay and feel fairly fresh. The design and the art in this game is a 4 out of 5. So I think that the art on this is really neat. I think it's very clear design. I think the app I'm going to include in that is also really good. I mean, like, I don't think there's anything over the top on it. I think it's a really good implementation of a board game. To get that 5, you've really got to, like, wow me. And it's tough to do that anymore because there's so many deluxe Kickstarters. But it's rock solid. It's not a complaint about it at all. So, really, really good. I think that this game, I mean, like, it's not having terrible ratings or anything like that. It's got good ratings here, but I think that we have to remember with all this stuff, this game is really affordable. And so it's going to be used in so many different situations that I think that's worth keeping in mind when we think about our ratings for kinds of games like this. Like, is this game worth, $10 to $15 for you to have around and have for those situations to pull out and play? It's not something you're investing a lot of money in and a lot of time into. So I'm going to give this one the overall accepted pick. and it's my word game pick kind of for right now. I think if people like word games, this is the one I like because I'm not a word game guy. I don't like code names that much. It's fine. I'll play it for other people's benefit, but if someone says, "Man, I really like code names," I might say, "Let's play this one instead," and see if it's something you enjoy. Because that playing 20 questions is okay, but adding that like, how can I deceive people or figure out who's deceiving me kind of element in there makes this game a lot of fun. It makes it worth keeping around and having in your collection, I think. So 4 out of 5 is what I'm going to end up giving this one. And I think it's rock solid in there. It's something I accept as a word game. And actually it's probably my word game pick for the board game mechanics at this point. I mean, like, there are other great word games out there, but at this moment, this is the one I like because, again, as a fan of not word games, this is the word game that I would want to play. So that's about it, guys. If you haven't subscribed, maybe think about it. If you haven't checked out our podcast, I think our podcast is a lot better than our videos we do. So maybe go check out our podcast. You can go to the link in the description here below. And there's going to be some tiles popping up here that's going to show a playlist and a sub thing that you can sub to us. Really appreciate it. You guys, we're an amateur show. We don't, have a big production budget. We just depend on the fans supporting us and getting our numbers up that publishers can say, hey, why don't you try this one out for us and stuff. So it really is fan support that fuels the board game mechanics. So I've been Joel, and keep gaming, and thanks for subbing, maybe. Appreciate it. Or if you're already a sub, thank you for already subbing. So anyway, keep gaming.